So I kept trying, and I never did see savings. Little did I know that the power company was charging me
more or less
for a flat fee,
more or less
for a flat amount of power.
I believe
A lot of times what they do is estimate the amount of power that your neighborhood uses per household, and basically they tack that number onto you and charge you for that number. If the entire house community uses an average of, let's say, 1,200 kilowatt hours per month, that is what most likely, more or less, give or take about 100 or 200 kilowatts. You will be charged about that much per month, whether you use 500 kilowatts or you use 1,600 kilowatts. You will be probably charged in most occasions what the average household uses in that area. You will be charged at the rates every other household uses. I think they have different brackets, like between, let's say, 0 and 600 kilowatt hours, you get charged a certain rate. After 600 kilowatt hours, you get charged a little higher. After, let's say, 1,000 kilowatt hours, you get charged even higher. So the more power you use, the more you get charged for that amount of kilowatt hours past that limit. So they put limits like a ladder fashion where you get charged more and more in the attempts perhaps to discourage you from using power. But they put these limits strategically, set these limits so you can start getting charged a lot more, a lot sooner. Reaching 600, 800 kilowatt hours is nothing.
So that you
start getting charged on a higher rate around that level. Around 600 to 800 kilowatt hours, you are already on a higher rate bracket per kilowatt hour. Check it out. I would find out through your power company what those brackets are, what that ladder bracket system is, and what the different rates are, because you are not being charged at the same rate regardless how much power you use. Your rates increase as you increase in how much power you use. But you may, as I have, and many other people I know, some other people that I know have tried this also, attempt to save energy, and they are disappointed to find out that they are still getting charged the same, sometimes even more, for the power that they use. I have experimented with this many times since 2008. I have read my meter, kept tabs and records of my meter readings to no avail. I have limited my use of power. I have attempted to save energy in many ways, including some draconian, quite extreme ways, like not using my air conditioning during the day, turning off my water heater during the day, or when the family and I are not using it, perhaps turn it on an hour before shower time. So I've taken pretty drastic measures, and to no avail. Fast forward to 2011, I was beginning to have some pretty significant changes when it comes to power and electric energy savings. I had an increasing amount of solar panels installed. By 2012, I had solar panels installed in my home feeding into the system, or I had a grid-tied solar system of about 2,000 watts, and I was feeding a good amount of watts, perhaps 300 to 400 watts of energy constantly during the day to the grid, yet I didn't see any savings on my power bill. I was also taking off electric, and many of the appliances that were on electric, like my stove, I switched that to LPG, liquid propane. I switched my clothes dryer from electric to LPG. And again, I was taking the measure of turning off water heaters and not using my air conditioning during the day. Those measures alone should have cut my power bill just about in half. But no, this didn't happen. My power bill remained stubbornly the same, and in some cases, some months, increased. This is beyond outrageous. This was beyond ludicrous. So I called the power company, hoping that they would see a discrepancy in how much they're charging me. But to no avail. All they offered was tips and advice on how to save energy.
And I thought, if only they knew who they were talking to.
They have these low-level employees, perhaps working from call centers, having nothing to do with the power company. They're just contractors, subcontractors, working in these call centers today. They're probably working from home, a lot of them, if not most. And these are just
likely
part-time people that they perhaps take calls for multiple things, among them the power company, and all they're there for is to explain your bill. They have access to your bill. They have access to the energy you use. They're trained to just explain your bill, how they determine the costs, the fees, and all this other stuff, how it adds up. They're trained to just make you feel better, make you make sense of your bill,
make you believe
that it is you using the power that you're being charged,
make you believe
that they are in fact correct in the amounts that they charge you, that if any mistake was made at all, it may have been a misreading of your power meter, but they very much discount this most of the time. They dismiss that possibility, but yet they offer it. They offer you for someone to go out and verify the reading on your meter. And that's probably as far as they are going to try to help you out. From my experience, they don't mention any kind of aid, help, any kind of financial help or programs that may exist that they may have. They don't really point you in any one direction for you to get any help. They basically blame you for the power bill that you have, the amount of money that you have to pay, and all they do is advise you how to use less energy, this and that. But even at this, they miserably fail. All they tell you is to change your light bulbs and to set your AC to 72 or 70 during the day, 68 at night. So they basically blanket cover every friggin' problem that every person may have with these few tips and
largely
useless advice that will likely make zero difference on your power bill. They are eager for you to pay what you owe. They are ready for you to submit payment right there and then, of course, with a convenience fee
tacked on.
And they are ready to disconnect your power if you don't pay, or to offer you reconnection if your power has been interrupted. Of course, with additional fees and charges
tacked on
and restrictions
tacked on,
because they will put you on a different bracket of customers, different category, where you are a high-risk customer and you are to be charged more than other lower-risk customers. You are probably going to be put on a cash-only basis where you can only pay with cash in person at their location. You may also pay with perhaps money orders, etc. So they will likely inconvenience the hell out of your life if you fall behind on your payments with the power company. I have been there before, and many other people. There's hundreds of thousands of other people that have gone through the same thing, and they have their stories posted on comments online, on Google reviews, on Yelp.com, etc. Look for those and you will
find them
abound when they're not censored, when they're not suppressed. So I spent all those years from 2011 all the way through 2018 in that house attempting to save energy. Never did I see those energy savings, which were again significant, materialize in my power bill. Unfortunately, my power bill remained high, and this was a big disappointment. I decided to just take all those solar panels down and not even bother with trying to save energy for the next few years. I was disillusioned, disappointed. I was quite convinced that doesn't matter what I did to save energy, I was going to be charged about the same. And I proved it. I basically demonstrably proved it. I have all the evidence, all the tests, all the records, all the efforts I made are well documented, and my power bills are also documented. Time frames and all of that match up to where I know for a fact that the power company
did not
and probably will not honor mine and your power saving efforts.
They
will keep charging you the same. If they notice a significant dip in your power usage, a lot of times they assume that you are stealing power. A lot of times they distrust you. I have had people even come and investigate in my house, my backyard. I saw an individual with an unmarked white car come out in a business shirt and khakis.
That
individual came out and was snooping around my backyard where I had my solar panels and wind turbine running. And that individual
nonchalantly
parked in my driveway and came and snooped around my backyard and spent there just a few minutes and left. And didn't knock on my door, didn't say anything, just was snooping around my backyard looking at what I had. And I suspect this individual was an agent from the power company, was an employee, inspector. He may have been an agent of the authority having jurisdiction, whether it was the city, county, code enforcement, whatever. But it was likely an individual with interests for the power company.